Okay. Peace to the family. Peace to the family. Today we have a very, well, I can't say today. I was about to say today we have a very serious, y'all know where y'all at. Y'all know who y'all talking to. Every day we get to business. But today is one of the subjects that I have a particular interest in because I feel like it's a guise for mass genocide across the globe. And I'm gonna put the other video links under this video. So you're going to go and click those links. With this video and the rest of these videos, not only should you be able to reverse your own diabetes, but anybody around you. In fact, you could be an aficionado. Just make sure you're not on the plagiarist side. Okay, I don't want y'all to be on the plagiarist side. Be on the reference side. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm with it. You can even call me up and I'll help you with your consultations and build your whole little empire up. Your whole healing center, clinic, whatever you're trying to do to heal the people. I'm with you. Just reference. Yo, I got to Minister Enqi. I was watching the videos. I was studying the books. I was in the God Complex course. Right? And I recommend that for the people trying to take it to the next level. Alright, so y'all know I always talk about heart disease being the number one killer. Heart disease being the number one killer. Right? But what we miss is that diabetes is the number one cause of heart disease. Heart disease is the number one killer. Cause of death, let's say that, because heart disease is a symptom. It's a symptom. It's not the cause, right? And diabetes is the number one cause of heart disease, right? You got well over 1 million deaths a year. Well over 1 million amputees a year. And right now, my number one mentee is calling me up from Texas. So when you see this video, you're going to know why you calling me up at midnight. I'm still working. Yes, family, to the people at home. Y'all probably won't see this video till sometime tomorrow. But yeah, it's midnight right now and I'm still filming video. Now, what I am going to do, all right, so for the people that have questions, I'm going to do a live Q&A tomorrow evening in the 40-day Fruit Fast Facebook group. Okay, so that's free. That's an opportunity for you guys to be able to speak directly to me. No consultation charge. Get it in, but the questions must pertain to diabetes. It is specifically a Q&A based on this video or other videos that I have on diabetes. All right. So as I get that sometime, like I put up the post on Instagram at Minister Enqi. We'll see. I put up the post on Instagram and I'm like, okay, anybody got any questions for diabetes y'all want me to address in my video? And people like, yeah, what's up with asthma? I'm like, what? But I get it though, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not beating you up. I get it because, you know, people have questions. They want to get it. $400 billion in cash per year for Big Pharma. Big Pharma. Right? $400 billion a year. You see, with that money, with that type of cash, with that type of power, see, that's how they got Future. shouting out Big Pharma, mask on, Big Pharma, mask on, Big Pharma. I mean, literally shouting out Big Pharma through the song. And he's telling you, pills, Percocets, Molly, woo, 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 Big Pharma. Y'all better wake up. All right? So understand that diabetes is a cornerstone for the pharmaceutical industry. And the pharmaceutical industry is a cornerstone of the Western economy. It props up the global markets. Pharmaceutical drugs props up the global markets. And diabetes and cancer drugs are a cornerstone. So this is bigger than what you might think. Now, I don't want to confuse anybody, because if you follow the steps and then you go to the website 40dayfruitfast.com and you follow the mucous membrane fast, follow the fast, your diabetes will be very easily controlled, very easily reversed. But that's not cured. You have to understand that cure is a commercially patented term associated with the pharmaceutical industry. You have to be licensed to use that term. So I don't cure anything. You have to be very careful of the language you use. Now, the fact that people are looking for a cure is what makes people sick. Because diabetes is not an illness. Let me be clear. It is the way your body naturally functions. But because you're in an unnatural environment, you're in an unnatural environment feeding your body unnatural substances, your body is exhibiting all sorts of malfunction, breakdown, and symptomology associated with your mistreatment of your body because you don't understand it. So do know, do be clear. Hopefully we're moving the veil of illusion from in front of your eyes. 80% of people with diabetes die from heart failure or stroke, which is the leading cause of heart disease, which is the leading cause of death. Now, let's go a step further. 85% of people with diabetes are people that have type 2 diabetes. 85% of people with diabetes worldwide are people with type 2 diabetes. Now let's go a step further. 85% of the people with type 2 diabetes are black and brown people. Okay, I'm going to let you. 2 plus 2 equals, 4. 2 plus 2 equals 4. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about the relationship of fat and sugar. All right? Also, a key fact. I know it's been stated 1,000 times. I just want to say it again. Diabetes is a metabolic disease. It is not genetics. It is not hereditary. Now, that might sound slightly contradictory to what doctors are saying, and it may even sound contradictory to my last statement saying that 85% of the people with type 2 diabetes are black people. That would sound like, hey, no, it's not genetic. It's not genetic. But your genes dictate that you are supposed to eat a specific way. So we're going to talk about in this video eating right for your haplotype. We're going to talk about that. And so because every life form on Earth has a specific type of habitat, has a specific type of dietary regimen that they're supposed to be practicing. When they step out of bounds, they will exhibit a similar pathology, which will create a similar set of symptoms, which cannot be quote unquote cured, because it is not a malfunction of the body. It is a malfunction of the brain. To look for something to enable you to continue to do the same thing over and over and get different results. You want to continue to feed yourself poison and indulge in a poisonous environment, and somehow you're looking for a pill or a drink or a plant or a herb that will allow you to ingest poison unlimited, live in a poisonous environment, and be a lazy bum that does not exercise at all or get any sunlight or water and be healthy. You see, I'm not going to make a promise of that. What I'm going to show you is how your body works and why it's responding the way it's responding. And then lay you out a very easy step-by-step blueprint that you can use to walk yourself backwards to good health. Period. And all of it is researchable. I don't play any games. Okay? So what is the key? The first thing that must happen before you become pre-diabetic is your liver must lose function. You see? Right there, I know that separated me from half these fake holistic healers on Earth. Half of them. And 3/4 of them in the conscious community. Because all they know how to tell you is what they heard somebody else say, which is getting people sick and putting people at risk. Oh, you got type 2 diabetes? Oh, well, you know what happens is the pancreas and the insulin, and the pancreas and the insulin, and the pancreas and the insulin. Stop. You guys don't know what diabetes is. But you've been sold this idea about getting out of society and creating your own situation. And the easiest thing you think you see is to copy and follow what you see other people doing. And I know it's like the Michael Jordan commercial. Maybe it's my fault for making it look so easy. You know, I got guys even duplicating my school. They try to duplicate my courses, duplicate my videos. Some of them guys say nothing. They don't mention me at all. Some of them, the ones that are really, I mean literally, watching the video, remixing the video, and then trying to sell it as a course. They even have videos trying to discredit me. I'm like, wow, this is amazing. Anyway, plagiarists, beware. My people watching you. But your liver must lose function. Now, A1C. What is A1C? A1C is a measure. And this is very important. Let's do it like this. Because when I was young, I loved these. I'm not going to lie. This was my favorite. Because we used to leave, when I used to go to 149, that's Clark. I'm not even sure that's the same name of the school anymore. They might have changed it. Especially after Mike got, especially after, it was just some wild stuff happened up there. But anyway, I used to come out the east side, go the back way, and walk down Morris, cut through Melrose projects every day on the way to school and the way coming back from school. And like right there on, I want to say it was either Melrose or Cortland. I forgot the street name. But the first corner, as soon as you leave the projects, they got the corner store. As soon as you get to the next corner, like right before you get, no, right there on the corner, they had the bakery. and you could smell the bakery before you got to it, and they had the sugar donut, 6 for $1. Yo, I used to love that. 6 donuts for $1. And, you know, basically the sugar donut is nothing but, you know, the donut battered up, and it's just dipped in sugar, and it's got sugar all over it. Okay, now why is that relevant? That's relevant because that is exactly the way many of us, many of our red blood cells look now. They are completely sugar coated, and doctors and scientists are using fancy language to hide this from you. And because you guys aren't studying, even many of the young guys, they're so caught up in politics right now that, you know, some of them hide watching my videos because other people will. Bro, this is life or death right here. You got to put your life first, and it doesn't make sense for you to get my information from somebody who's getting it from me, who's getting it from someone who's getting it from me, that's giving it to you. That doesn't make any sense. You might as well come to the source. Because when people don't put this work in, year after year, day after day, month after month, it's only so far they can take you. And you can't gamble with your life. Glycation is what's happening inside our bodies. Meaning, your insides are becoming sugar coated. Your red blood cells are becoming sugar coated. So much so that they created the A1C test. And the A1C test basically is a test to see how sugar coated your red blood cells are. Now, diabetes is defined a few ways, one of which is the inability to metabolize carbohydrates. Yo, I need you guys to really get this. The inability to metabolize carbohydrates. You know what carbohydrates are? Fruits and vegetables are carbohydrates. Look at what's happening. Well, look what Big Pharma's telling you. A lot of these medications say, you know, don't eat kale with this medication or you might risk death. Don't eat grapefruit with this medication or you might risk death. Don't eat this, Don't eat the fruits and the vegetables with this medication or you might be deaf. So, hey, stay away from the fruits and the vegetables. I'm not going to tell you to go against that. Do whatever your doctor tells you to do. I'm just telling you to be alert. Watch the sign of the times. Diabetes is defined as an inability to metabolize carbohydrates properly. Carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. Now, when you say 85% of people with type 2 diabetes, which is the primary form of diabetes on the planet, are brown and black people. These people can't metabolize carbon? Carbon, the biological exchange currency between animals and plants? Or what? Hydrogen and oxygen. You know, breath and water. Listen to what's happening. This is depopulation. I hope you understand. Now, what I want to cover is, you know, maybe touch on a couple things to review, but mostly things that are not in the other videos. All right, because I've went so extensive on this subject. You know, if your life, if it's not worth putting the hours in to sit down in front of your computer and study, take some notes and figure out your life, then really your life is not worth having. You know, so if you got type 2 diabetes and you won't want to sit down for 2-3 days and study to figure out how to really heal yourself and get your life back, it's fine. Just don't be a burden to your family. Jump in front of a truck. Hey, jump in front of a truck. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. But seriously, GLP-1. GLP-1. I want you to look up GLP-1. Google search it. Produced in the brain stem, the stomach, and the liver. Very important. GLP-1 produced in the brain stem, stomach, and liver. CCK produced in the duodenum. Okay, so look up CCK separately. Okay, Google search CCK. Produced in the duodenum. Helps to digest fat and protein. Activates the pancreas and gallbladder. Activates the pancreas and gallbladder. Okay, the pancreas not only produces insulin, but it also produces lipase to break down oils and fats. Okay, so the pancreas has other jobs. The pancreas also monitors blood sugar to release glucagon or glucogen. Okay, now not only does it activate the pancreas and the gallbladder stores bile, which metabolizes fat, etc., etc., but it's also for your nervous system. You see, I got to keep showing you this connection between your brain and your stomach. All right? Understand your nerves is an extension of your brain. Now, a lot of people speak on insulin, and I just sit back in the cut and listen, and these guys be fronting and posing and posturing like, bro, they don't know much, and if you keep putting your life in their hands, you're not going to have results. There's no one insulin. There's a family of insulins all throughout your body. There's a family of insulin. Insulin is the most anabolic hormone in your body. Is a family of insulins. Okay? And where are they produced? The pancreas, the digestive system, and your brain. So, we're going to talk about these things. Sidebar. Because when I write these notes down, I write these lessons, these videos, the same way I write, like the same way I used to write my raps, my rhymes. Like as a line, I might be anywhere. I always got my notebook. So I might be anywhere. Like I might be at the post office shipping packages and some come to me and like, so I might scribble it down. So anyway, note, when you go to the mucous membrane fast, and you see the basic diet plan, you're going to see there are changes for people with special conditions. Diabetes is one of them. Okay? If you're diabetic, there are no smoothies for you on the fast. I repeat, people with diabetes should not drink smoothies of any kind. Okay? Don't even buy yourself a blender. Go buy a juicer. All right? So there's only green juices for you guys. Right? Anyway, glycation. Okay? Let's get back to the sugar donuts that you're making out of your red blood cells. Sugars bind with proteins naturally. Sugars bind with proteins naturally. So when you have a high amount of sugar floating around in the blood, eventually it's going to start to bind with the proteins on the red blood cell. This is how, and even in the tissues and the membranes and organs in the body. This is why that overnight detox that these guys think they selling you is garbage. Oh, I had a bowel movement. Oh, yeah, I was on the toilet for 2 days. So what? That didn't get you no real detox. That's not getting the crystallization of the sugars that virus is hiding in your body out. This is why you guys with certain things keep having flare-ups of different things, because your sugar... Wrong video. So, be careful. I know a lot of folks, they go get their veggie burgers. They love the caramelized onions and caramelized this. Be careful eating the caramelized stuff. It promotes glycation. Be careful when you eat the hot, folks that still eat meat. Beef and franks and all that. All that stuff we load up with ketchup and whoop-de-whoop. All that stuff is designed for glycation. The moment you put your barbecue sauce, like July 4th coming up, oh my God, it's going to be crazy. Everybody's going to cook the meat and they're going to put the sugar on it. The barbecue sauce, the sweet barbecue sauce, the ketchup on all the franks. So, the same process of glycation is what makes your skin wrinkle, look saggy, dull, etc., etc. I know, because the ladies be interested in vanity. If I tell them to do this, because it'll add 20 years to their lifespan, they're like, oh, okay, I'll get around to it. If I say it's going to remove the wrinkles from your face, they ready to sign up immediately. Okay, so it's glycation which adds the wrinkles. Understand that. But you can't see the sugar crystals on the inside. You could just see the wrinkles on the outside. All right? Glycation. Lipid peroxidation. Lipid peroxidation. What is that? You're becoming hydrogenated. Like hydrogenated oils. Okay. So, look those things up. All right, GLP-1, glucagon-like peptide, number 1. Cholecystokinin. What? That's why I told you, just look up CCK. All right. Now, statin drug users, people with high blood pressure, watch this. CoQ-enzyme 10. Now, I told you guys, if you're watching, the people that are watching my videos, you got this from the last couple videos. But I told you guys, CoQ-enzyme number 10 does the same thing in your mitochondria that vitamin K does in the blood, and they're actually related. They're actually related. But guess what else is related? Cholesterol. So when you take statin drugs, the statin drugs block the pathway to produce cholesterol, which ruins your ability to produce the derivatives of cholesterol, including testosterone and the rest of your hormones. But it also ruins the ability for you to produce vitamin K and, more importantly, CoQ-enzyme number 10. Because vitamin K, even when you get it from the greens, etc., etc., you still have to metabolize it and turn it into the active form. All those pathways are blocked with the statin drugs. All right? So, what are we dealing with carbohydrates? What are we dealing with sugar? Why do we use those things? For energy. For energy. So here's the basic problem already. You have 2 sets of DNA. You see, it's like the women are blocked out of science, even in biology. Because whenever we hear about DNA, all we're talking about is nuclear DNA. When you have thousands more DNA in the mitochondria. The nuclear DNA is only for structural purposes. It's the mitochondria that supplies the body with energy. So that's what we should be discussing. Energy. Now, let's just walk this through real quick. Photons are absorbed, and I might have to do 2 parts to this video because it might get too long. So if it gets too long, got to do 2 parts, then hey, I'll still do the Q&A tomorrow after the first part, and then hopefully, that'll provide a little bit more insight for you guys. So join the 40-Day Fruit Fast group, and then bam, then I can do the part 2. If I can't get it all in, because I probably got looks like. I gotta walk you through some stuff. Alright, so photons are absorbed by a ocean bacteria, alright, called chloroplast in plants, which they use to split water molecules into hydrogen and oxygen. Okay? Keep in mind that hydrogen always needs another element to bind with. Hydrogen is the lightest element. So if hydrogen is unbound, hydrogen floats out of the atmosphere. That's how light it is. Hydrogen cannot exist in our atmosphere, on Earth, or in Earth's atmosphere without being bound to another element, which is what makes water so special. Once the ocean bacteria have captured the hydrogen, it releases the oxygen back into the air. Now, what is the ocean bacteria using for energy to do this? Let me bring you back to the top. Plants drink water, they absorb sunlight. The plants use the sunlight to split that water molecule in two. When it splits that water molecule in two, because the plant doesn't want the oxygen, which is the purpose I made, the point I made of telling you that hydrogen has to be bound to something else. So the plant uses the water because it's hydrogen bound to oxygen, but it doesn't really want the oxygen, it wants the hydrogen. So it used the photon for energy to help split that water molecule, and once it has the hydrogen, now the oxygen can go. It uses carbon to compress that hydrogen into a crystal, a hydrocarbon crystal called sugar. Okay, this is how sugar is made. When these hydrocarbon crystals are binded with oxygen, they are able to be digested or metabolized by animals. The guys in the next step in the food chain. Now, what do we have? We have our own set of ocean bacteria called mitochondria. Yeah. So it's really one type of ocean bacteria creating food for its offspring. Mitochondria in us. Because remember, we're just cells. So the mirror fools you to make you think you're an individual. You're just a bunch of cells. And it's the mitochondria at the end of the day. The mitochondria is really the organism. It's really the organism. When you talk about the mind, the magnetic field, etc., understand the mitochondria that produces it. So you really are your mitochondria. And the rest of this is the spacesuit that the mitochondria is wearing. So this is really about a parent feeding a child. So the chloroplast create this food, this energy, this crystal, and then feeds it to its baby, the mitochondria. Now, in the first level, and before I get to that, let me just add this. Critical mistake by Western academia is cutting spirituality. I gotta add that here, because that's what the mitochondria is, the unseen everything. All of these things that science is now talking about, the biophotons, the magnetic fields, all generated by the mitochondria. That's what it does. And now we know that free radicals are actually signaling agents, but because our bodies are not in alignment with nature, those signals are misfiring and causing oxidative stress in the body. But that's not for here. Right? just know, like I said earlier, the nuclear DNA creates the mass, but the mitochondria animates the mass. Okay? So write that down. Google mitochondria, DRP1. Look, just Google that. All right? So let's talk about sugar metabolism. These crystals. How do we metabolize these crystals? The first thing we do in metabolizing these crystals, just like the plants, what did the plants do? The plants took the water, but they got what? Rid of what out of the water? The oxygen. Okay, so when we take in these crystals, we use the oxygen. Mitochondria, they love oxygen. So what do we use? What do we discard? Carbon. Carbon is the waste product. So the first thing we have to do in metabolizing these natural plant sugars, starches, is we have to start, our metabolism has to start shedding the carbon off, because the plants only use the carbon to compress the hydrogen. So again, it's hydrogen what our mitochondria is looking to get. So the first thing the body has to do is unwrap that gift. It's just like a grapefruit. You peel off the skin. The skin is the carbon. It's the binding element. So we have to get rid of that to free up that hydrogen. Okay? These carbons are shed as carboxylic acids. So we're getting rid of the carboxylic acids. The main one is pyruvic acid. This is a key to biochemistry, because depending on diet and exercise, this pyruvic acid is going to be a gift or curse. This pyruvic acid, which is a type of carboxylic acid, because when you hear the term carboxylic acid, no, that's a general term. Vinegar is a carboxylic acid. Like there's a bunch of different types of carboxylic acids. Pyruvic acid can be converted into fatty acids to rebuild cells, or sugar if your body needs more energy via gluconeogenesis. Your body can recycle that carbon and recycle some hydrogen, and your body can create your body can create sugar inside the body. You can recycle the hydrogen and the carbon to produce more sugar for energy. Now, again, depending on diet, exercise, and lifestyle and environment, that pyruvic acid can also be converted to ethanol or lactic acid through fermentation. So, this is present. This pyruvic acid is present with every single piece of food that you eat. Everything. Whether you're eating kale, whether you're eating limes and lemons, or whether you're eating Cheetos and Doritos. Right? What was it? It's the return of the Mac. Right? So you can eat macaroni and cheese inside of cheese doodles. Like what are we doing right now? Like this is crazy, people. And y'all are looking for a cure for diabetes instead of stopping this crazy shit. Your body was never intended to eat macaroni and cheese, let alone macaroni and cheese stuffed in a cheese doodle. Like, the hydrocarbon minus the pyruvic acid is then consumed by the ocean bacteria in your body, aka the mitochondria, and it's broken down all the way to utilize the pure hydrogen ions for energy. The two basic forms of energy that are produced are infrared, right? That's heat. And that heat actually shrinks the cytochromes, the cellular respiratory proteins or cellular pigments, okay? the cellular pigments, it shrinks them back down. The smaller they are, the more faster they can conduct electrons, and the more electrons they can conduct without leakage. All right, electron leakage is the number one cause of age, illness, inflammation, and apoptosis, as well as fast cellular replication, which means your telomeres shrink at an exceptionally fast speed on your nuclear DNA. See, these are all the causes, scientific causes of aging, right there in your mitochondria. Man, and just to think, there's people that might say, you know what, this brother, Minister Enqi, is all about the money. Do you know what you would have to pay in college tuition fees to get just what I already gave you just now? Do you know what it cost me to get the information and understand, like, to really... Okay, so infrared and ATP, those are the two basic forms of energy. Cytochrome coupling, nuclear DNA and mitochondrial DNA coupling are a major key to health. Major key. Electron leakage or mitochondrial entropy creates inflammation, speeds up cell death and replication, shortening telomeres, increasing age and disease. Right? Yes, I will be very repetitive because that's my teaching style. You see, I teach in a spiral. As I go around, and I've taught other teachers my teaching style. As I go around, I just add more to what I'm saying to you, so it starts to sink in. So by the time you get to the end of the video, things that in the beginning of the video you might then see, it's that, like that. Okay, you'll get it. So anyway, carboxylic acids. Tricarboxylic acid. What is the tricarboxylic acid? Citric acid. No. I gotta save those. So eat right for your haplotype. Let's focus. Inflammation at this level can interfere with the metabolism of insulin and glucose, which can boost the production of ketones via the body burning fat for energy. Once the metabolism of carbohydrates, aka blood sugar, is hindered, your body is going to automatically look to try to burn fats for energy. When it does that, you're going to see a super high amount of ketones, which is another carbon byproduct in the urine. That's just a symptom that your body is not metabolizing carbohydrates properly. All right? So, watch this. Like I told y'all, the brain and the heart is what makes us special from all other creatures. Most of our mitochondria are located in our heart and brain, unlike any other species of animal on Earth. Well, actually, I should say any other land animal. Okay? We are much more like whales and dolphins than we are apes and gorillas. Okay? But you got to study to know that. So you just repeating what somebody else said, then you know. Right. Anyway. So, the brain and heart use the most energy out of all the organs, muscles, etc. The heart, the only organ that has its own category of muscle tissue, its own category of muscle cells. Now look at the brain. The brain is only 2% of the body weight, but it uses over 20% of the body's energy. Okay. Now, what are we talking about here? Just in case y'all don't know. Oh man, you're getting deep with that science. Yeah, this is light body. This is actually light body science. Because when we talk about electricity production, what do you have? Anytime you have electricity, you have a magnetic field. What does electricity also produce? Radiance, radiation, that's light. Whether you can see it, whether it's visible light or not, still light. Okay. I got to teach to everybody, so I got to get the novices and the adepts at the same time, as well as the people just trying to reverse their type 2 diabetes. How does fat play a role? Well, you have two types of fat. White adipose tissue, or what? No, what? And then you have bat, right? Coincidentally, bats can carry all diseases and still not get sick. Just a sidebar, right? And they're the only mammal capable of true flight, and they don't have wings. They have skin. I'm just saying. So you have two types of fat in your body. Back to the information. White adipose tissue, brown adipose tissue. Your white adipose tissue is supposed to be almost non-existent. If you have an equator-based haplotype, let me be specific. If you have an equator-based haplotype, you should have very little, almost no fat on your body. If you have a polar haplotype, then you should be carrying fat on your body because the sun is not that prevalent in those places. Now, if you're an equator-based haplotype and you're living in a polar region, you have to be very careful because you have a high propensity to certain metabolic illnesses because you're out of your natural habitat. Where's that happening? Black folks with type 2 diabetes? Just saying. So, brown adipose tissue. See, white adipose tissue is to store sugar for energy because you don't have the major source. You're not plugged into the sun. You're not plugged into the sun. The further away you get from where places are sunny all the time, if you have a equatorial haplotype, then you have to carry a little lunch with you. But no, you still supposed to keep it to a bare minimum, and you got to be in shape. Okay, or you got to move back. If you want to be a lazy bum, black folks, brown folks, you have to move to the equator. Okay, high yellow folks, white folks, pink folks. If you live in the equator, you're gonna have to work because it's too much sun for you. Now, if you want to be a lazy bum and relax and be healthy, you're gonna have to move to a polar region. Why? And you're gonna have to carry a little fat. Why? Because your your cellular pigments are not as tightly coupled. So your cellular makeup is for more dense foods to provide you more electrons. Carbohydrates don't carry anywhere near. They may carry maybe 30, 40 electrons. Fats carry over 100. So people away from the equator need more fat and dense food to supply their mitochondria with the same amount of electricity. Okay. Anyway, your brown adipose tissue works with your body's metabolism and is there to release thermal energy, infrared, and help the body regulate its metabolism via the mitochondria. The liver. The liver governs and balances. The liver supplies ma'at. The liver governs and balances energy distribution in the same way that your kidneys govern and balance fluid or water distribution throughout the body. Right? The pancreas. The pancreas is made of two types of cells. Okay? Alpha and beta cells. Your alpha cells, well, those are the guys that you're familiar with. They sense high insulin levels, or rather high glucose levels, and then they say, okay, well, we don't need to produce some. We're going to need to get some insulin production from the body to get rid of this. So understand that insulin is not even a part of normal metabolism. In a perfectly healthy body, you don't even need to produce insulin for sugar metabolism because your muscles and your organs and glands will do it sufficiently without the help of insulin. Insulin comes along when blood glucose is too high, meaning that you're consuming more glucose than your body can process, or your body's just refusing to process glucose. So now here comes insulin. Okay? Beta cells. Okay? The beta cells, which we normally refer to as the alpha cells, which are the guys that produce insulin, are actually the guys that sense when there's not enough glucose, and then they get to work on the body producing glucagon or glucogen. And what that does is help to release sugars and starches stored up in the fat cells in the body to get the right amount of fuel for your mitochondria. Okay. Now, this is where insanity enters Western medicine. They know food, lifestyle, and environment creates illness. But they ignore bioelectricity and the light body, keeping everyone in the dark, pun intended, right? Now, quick sidebars real quick. Outside of electron leakage causing apoptosis, right? When a cell dies, what is a major signal for inflammation? Just think about that. I just told you mitochondria is ocean bacteria. So when a cell dies, what is a major signal for inflammation? Bacteria. Let me show you guys. Let me show you guys. These are my tools. I have tools I use to teach my babies. Okay, here you go. Alright, so this is a cell. And it's blue because a cell is primarily just structured water. Right? Gel. Yeah. You see that? Mitochondria, mitochondria, mitochondria. Right? There's mitochondria everywhere in the cell. There's only one set of nuclear DNA, but there's mitochondria everywhere, right? When a cell dies, say this cell is ruptured, this stuff on the inside spills out into the body. So now you have those ocean bacteria floating around in the fluid of the body. Right? Okay, just some food for you to rethink your autoimmune disease paradigm. Right? Chronic inflammation. Okay, now you know that cell death and turnover, high cell death and super fast cell turnover can be a cause of chronic inflammation. Right? And do note, let's just note, cancer is a sugar-based disease. I could do a whole video on sugar and cancer alone. I think I'll get to cancer next week though. So, why eat right for your haplotype? Simple. Generally, the darker you are, the more ATP your mitochondria can produce with less entropy via cellular pigment or cytochrome coupling and integrity. In general, the darker you are, the more tightly coupled your cellular pigments, your cytochromes are, and they have less cell leakage, less electron leakage and less entropy, which is why it's a well-known fact that people with more pigment in their skin age at a slower rate. I'm giving you the science now why. So now you know the science behind why people say black don't crack. Okay? And if you're not dark skinned, if you're not pigmented, fine. Now you know how to make adjustments so that you stay in tune and you don't age so fast. Right? Now, the lighter you are, the more dense food consumption you need. Fats, flesh, etc. And really not the flesh, so to speak, because now we're in advanced time. We're not in hunter-gatherer period. So we really understand how to consume the right type, the right blend of carbohydrates and fatty acids. Because it's really fatty acids that your body needs. And outside of that, it's just nutrition, minerals, you know, but proteins and macros and all the rest of that stuff's the same. Okay, so for my lighter skinned folks or my people that don't have any pigment, or Caucasians, white folks, whatever you want to, however we want to style this thing, because everyone is offended, even black folks. When I say black folks, there are black folks that are offended that I call black folks black folks. Then I say melanated and they're like, no, we're this and then we're that, and it gets crazy. So I'm sure white folks have the same type of, you know, psychosis going on. I say white folks are like, no, we're Europeans. No, I'm not European, I'm Irish. Just stop it, okay? You know who you are, okay? So generally, the lighter you are, the more dense food is required for adequate ATP production problem. The mitochondrial mutations that create this uncoupling that was needed for survival in polar regions allow for more internal heat, all right? Inflammation. Also more electron leakage, aging. So what does that mean? That means with the higher amount of fats consumed, there has to be a higher amount of antioxidants consumed, right? And a different neurotransmitter and hormone cascade balance. Different diet, different neurotransmitter and hormone cascades, because your diet is what allows your body to produce hormones and neurotransmitters. This is why the brain frequencies are a little different. So we're different, but we're the same. We're the same, but we're different. Your haplotype is going to determine your mitochondrial coupling or your cellular pigment coupling. That's going to determine your diet. Your diet's going to determine the type of neurotransmitters you produce, the amounts that you produce, as well as the amounts of the hormones that you produce. These things are going to determine your brain chemistry. Your brain chemistry is going to determine your social behavior. Your social behavior is going to determine how you socialize. Okay. I know. I'll be going. So, dark skin, equator-based haplotypes need a more of a solar, fruit, and green veggie based diet. More lighter polar types need a little bit more fat in their diet. Okay, so for my light-skinned folks with freckles, you guys in between, you gotta mix it up. Okay, you gotta mix it up. Everybody overall needs light, and everybody overall needs DHA. What is DHA? DHA is primarily sold in fish oil, but you can get it in like the pink lips from the 40dayfruitfast.com because it comes from ocean plants, you know, primarily like the algae and things like that. But that's what your body uses to convert photons into electrons. So no DHA, you ain't gonna have no juice. Okay? Mind you, mitochondrial DNA has a high mutation rate, which many who don't understand biology see as a weakness, but it's volatile. Mitochondrial DNA has a high mutation rate, which many who don't understand biology see as a weakness, but Its volatile nature is its strength. It conforms to diet, lifestyle, and environment to allow you, the plant that can travel, to survive in any environment. Remember, we are vessels for these ocean bacteria. Your red blood cells, all of these are things that you need to keep in mind. Your red blood cells do not have mitochondria. And popular science will tell you that they produce energy strictly via fermentation. Now, again, if you have a polar haplotype, and when I say polar, I don't mean that you come from the North Pole, all right? I can see people getting offended already. No, I just mean that you have a southern hemisphere or northern hemisphere haplotype. Okay, your people are not from the equator. Well, Minister Enqi, how can we tell that without getting our deep? Look in the mirror. Okay, if you're dark like me, then equator. Okay, if you're white skinned, polar. Okay, if you're in the middle, you're mixed. Okay, it's very simple. Okay, don't overcomplicate it. All right. Fermentation in the red blood cells for energy is okay for a polar-based haplotype. Why? Because they have a very rudimentary ammonia transport system for this purpose. Equatorial haplotypes, you do not have this type of ammonia-based transport system, etc., etc. You're supposed to produce energy for your red blood cells by having a constant intake of chlorophyll, not extracted chlorophyll in a bottle, plant-based chlorophyll. Plant-based chlorophyll from eating plants or consuming mama tonics, whatever, whichever one you want to do. And sunlight. Because your red blood cells absorb UV light through your skin. And the UV light activates not only the peripherins, the human peripherins, I should say, but the plant peripherins. Right? So it activates your red blood cell and the chlorophyll, and they catalyze one another, and you produce energy for your red blood cells via sunlight. Remember, plagiarists, all I'm saying is a reference, just reference to God, okay? Because that y'all not gonna have that information outside of me giving it to you right now, and then my plagiarists, you know, because they come. But you guys are not even sharp enough to look at the dates on these videos. So it's like you hear them, they do videos on diabetes. They're like, yeah, the pancreas and the insulin, and yeah, we're going to take bitter melon and whoop-de-whoop. Then they watch my video, and all of a sudden they have a whole new paradigm they're breaking down, but they don't say I got it from Minister Enqi because they want you to think they got it from them. And that's cool, but this is health. And this is hurting people when people that don't really understand biochemistry are trying to teach folks. No, come join the God Complex and get this direct. Okay, go to the 40dayfruitfast.com, join the classes. Let's go. Join the classes. Women having fertility issues, couples having trouble getting pregnant. Join the class. We got a 1-year-long class on fertility. And it's not just a class teaching you about fertility. Every class is a series of steps that you have to get completed so that you're becoming more fertile as a couple with every class. Anyway, so Western philosophy on disease. I want you guys to check this out. Western philosophy on disease. Watch how this thing works. Western philosophy on disease. You guys got to get this, because this stuff is it gets a little crazy, right? Now, let's say every morning, right? Every morning I wake up the exact same way on the exact same side of my bed. I get out the bed with my eyes closed, I'm groggy, and I stub my pinky toe. Bam! Ah, shit, damn it! I'm late, I gotta deal with the children. Ooh. My toe is hurting, but you know, I got things to do, so I'll live. I do that Monday, I do that Tuesday. I mean, waking up the exact same way like Groundhog Day and stubbing the same pinky toe in the same spot in my room. Bam, I do that Wednesday. Bam, I do that Thursday. Bam, I do that Friday. My joint is like boof, 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 bleeding. The nail look broken. I'm scared to look at it. It's looking crazy. I go to the doctor. Now watch how this goes, because this is Western science and Western medicine. This is how it goes. So I go into the doctor and I'm like, Doc, you know, I stubbed my toe. Look at my toe. Fix me up. I can't live like this. Doctor goes, okay. Oh, I definitely, I see that you what level is your pain? Is it at a 10? Okay, cool. Yeah, is it a 10 smiley face or a 10 grumpy face? You know, this is medicine. And you're like, no, it's a 10. I'm really in pain. You know, the law, right? So now they prescribe me some pain medication. They're like, okay, wrap it up. Here's some pain medication. You know, go ahead. You good to go. Good as new. In my mind, I'm like, I don't think that fixed the problem. I think I'm gonna get a second opinion, because I think that just masks a symptom. Yeah, that masks a symptom. So I'm gonna go check this out. So I go get it checked out, second opinion, and guess what the second doctor said? Second doctor unwraps it. It's like, oh, okay, what's going on? Oh, okay, I see. Okay, you stubbed your toe. Okay, you're pretty messed up. You know what the problem is? It's not the pain. It's inflammation. So what I'm going to do is prescribe you a couple of anti-inflammatory drugs. Take these. Bam, you're good as new. So now I got pain medication from the first doctor, but the first doctor didn't give me any anti-inflammatory drugs, which I didn't necessarily know that I needed until I went to get a second opinion from the second doctor, and he said the problem was not pain. The pain was just the throbbing from the immediate reaction. My nervous system is related to my brain. It's actually inflammation. So he gives me some anti-inflammatory drugs, and I'm like, that may address the swelling, but I don't know if that's addressing the. I'm gonna go get a third opinion. You know what the third doctor says? The third doctor says, oh, I see what the problem is. This is not inflammation or a pain issue. What we're going to have to do is do a minor surgery and actually go ahead and cut this nail out, because the nail is actually the problem. We're going to have to get this toenail out of there, because this is the problem. And I'm like, wrong third opinion. So I leave that doctor and go get a fourth opinion to replace that third opinion, so it's actually the third opinion. And that doctor's like, hey, we're going to have to remove this bone, because this bone is obviously in the wrong place if you keep banging it. So I think you guys see what I'm getting at. None of those doctors said, hey, what we need to figure out is a way for you to wake up in the morning and stop banging your damn toe. Whether that means you have to lay in the bed a little bit longer to get your whereabouts, get your alertness, thoroughly wake up, or maybe you have to move the furniture around in your room. Maybe you need big socks on and slippers so you can bang your foot and you got protection. But that is the difference between holistic healing, holistic science, and the medical system. And I just wanted to give you that analogy so as we move forward, you guys can understand how going to 40dayfruitfast.com and following step by step along with what you learn in this video and the videos I'm going to give you the links for in the description. Click those links, watch those videos, That is how you're going to be able to reverse your condition. Easy peasy, 1, 2, 3Z. Okay. Glycoproteins and glycolipids are key in the structure of our cells and tissues. What is that? Glycoproteins. Okay. Glycoproteins and glycolipids. These are the things that form the protective layer of the mucous membrane in the body. Anytime you have inflammation, that protective layer is shed. Because most of us have a constant, quiet, inflammatory condition like background static inside our body. Most of us have no protective coating on our mucous membrane. So this is one of the reasons why Antonia's hair Villi, which you can get at the 40dayfruitfast.com, is so powerful, because it has the natural glycoproteins in it to restore the glycocalyx, which is a major cause of miscarriage and salpingitis, or inflammation in the fallopian tubes. Okay, it's also a major cause of autoimmune disease. All right. Now, why am I saying this? Because these are sugar-based proteins, sugar-based fats, just like your membranes. Why am I saying that? Because you need to know that there are 8 essential sugars, and most of us on a processed diet are only getting glucose into the body. So you're galactose deficient, which you need to get from raw fruits and veggies. Okay? The Live It for Light Bodies book, I have a long list of all the fruits and veggies and how much milligrams of galactose is in each one, and whoop-de-whoop. You can buy that from the website separate, or join the class and get it for free. Fucose, right? Fucose you can get from pink lips, or you can just go get some kelp and eat some raw kelp, right? But those are 2 of your 8 essential sugars, right? Glucose being one, but you're loaded on glucose. All right, mannose also comes from kelp or pink lips, whatever, just saying, right? But you can also get it in cayenne pepper and cabbage. Glucosamine. Wait a minute, you mean that stuff for your joints, your knees, your elbows, fights arthritis and all that kind of stuff? Yeah, that's a sugar. Glucosamine. You get that from seaweed and algae. You can also get, the pink lips, you got it. Galactosamine. Where does that come from? That's from the red algae. You can go get you some red algae or some pink lips. Yep. Neurominic acid, which is all right. Let's just get a little. Gets a little tricky. When you eat all of your sugars and you eat ocean vegetables, your body will produce neurominic acid. Here's the problem. For a long time, scientists were looking at animals, other types of animals. I know we're also animals. Other types of animals and mammals, and their neurominic acid molecule is a little different. Okay, it's one oxygen different, but they didn't know this for a while, so they thought there was only one type. So when you look up neurominic acid, most of the literature you're going to find is going to say that humans don't produce it. All right, but humans do produce it. In fact, they produce supplements, and here's the problem with the supplementation and clinical research. When the clinical research begins to dig into the pockets of these pharmaceutical companies that are hiding as vitamin companies, when they have a faulty product, they just get rid of the research that shows it's a faulty product and let you deal with the results. So, NEU5GC is the analog to neurominic acid. You need the neurominic acid, neuro, right? It's for your brain, your neurons, your nervous system. Now check this out. Whenever you eat flesh, any type of meat, And I've never put this in any other video, and it's not in anybody else's videos. So I know when I start hearing this repeated, I know where this came from. When you eat animal products, animal flesh, or neurominic acid supplements, you're getting an animal analog to a human-based sugar. Now, because there's only one oxygen different in this molecule, your body will actually utilize the animal neurominic acid. And what happens? That gets interwoven into your cells, which become your tissues, glands, organs, etc., etc. But now guess what? Your HLA system will recognize those tissues and cells that have that neurominic acid, that NEU 5GC built into it, interwoven throughout the fabric of its tissues, as foreign. And your white blood cells will attack it. And when you go to the doctor, they'll say you have an autoimmune disease. Human neurominic acid is NEU5AC. Okay? You got to get this work, right? Xylose. Xylose, you get that from greens, you get that from herbs, and you get that from sea vegetables. Right? Now, the ancient prescription, let me just tell you what the ancient prescription was. So that way you see this is not a new thing. And a lot of people that follow me, especially people in the God complex course, you know, I come with the people that are just watching the videos, you guys hear all of the science, but the people that really follow me for a long time or that are in the classes, they know that I go all the way from the medical papyri and Kemet all the way forward. I don't discriminate. Period. If they were reversing illness in Alaska, we on it. I'm not a vegan or a vegetarian because I want to save the animals. I'm a vegan and vegetarian because I want to save me. Like and kind. Period. So if it's good for the body, we on it. If it's a program to improve health, we on it. Period. I don't care what the source is. It ain't no, I don't care. If white folks on Mars are reversing high blood pressure, guess what? I'm getting ready to get me a round trip shuttle and pay for classes, and I'll be up there studying. If purple folks on Pluto figure out a better way to reverse cancer than what I'm already doing, I'm out there on Pluto with the purple folks. I don't care. I'm about healing people, period. So the ancient prescription for diabetes, you need to know this. Wheat, I kid you not, wheat, herbs, and intense exercise. This is 5,000-6,000 years ago. Wheat, herbs, intense exercise. People with diabetes will put on a vegan diet of wheat and herbs and given intense daily solar exercise regimens, meaning the exercise that they did was outside in the sun. I just need this to register for you. It's no way to cheat life. It's no way to cheat your biology. There's no way around it. That's what you're looking for. Like you're looking for a pill to allow you to continue to eat like a savage and be healthy. It just doesn't work like that. Diabetes and obesity linked. Me and Abundance Child did a mini tour called Diabesity. If you look hard, you can still find some of those videos. I mean, it was rough back then. Right, my editing skills was not so. But point being, controlling your fat is still the key in controlling diabetes. Controlling your fat, which is two parts to it. A, controlling the type of fats that you eat. Controlling the type of fats that you eat. I don't need to go into that and waste time because you can Google good fats chart, and they'll give you a chart all over Google. Good fats, bad fats, indifferent. I'll give you a couple towards the end of the video, maybe, but that's what you need to know for now. A, the type of fats you're consuming, because you do need fat. B, it's not about the fat like when you look in the mirror and you're like, oh my God, I'm fat. Oh my God, look at my chin. Or my chins with an S. You know what I'm saying? Oh my God, look at my stomach. Oh my God, when I wave my hand, no, it's not that fat. If you can do those things, then you obviously know you're fat. But there are a lot of people who are very thin, medium sized, even skinny, who have a very high fat ratio, which is why it's important to know your body fat percentage. Men should be between an 8 and 15% body fat to be healthy. If you are a brown or black person. If you're light-skinned to European, you should be anywhere from, you can extend that outward. Maybe 11% to 20%. Body fat tops, though. Women, brown and black women, 13 to 22%. Same thing. Light skin, European ancestry, maybe 15 to 26%. 25% tops. Glucose intolerance and glucose toxicity. I talked a little bit about this in the MS video, I believe. And you guys got to watch these videos. You got to spend the time. I'm giving you these videos for free, and they're not going to be up for that long. I'll probably remove them, put them on Enqi TV. Y'all know how I do. So if you really want all the videos, it's over 1,000 of these videos. And some of these videos is 2-3 hours. So that's 2,000-3,000 hours of video footage on this information. And of course you can't sit down and watch it all in one setting, but it's like $6-7 a month, family, to join Enqi TV. Go to 40-Day Fruit Fast and join Enqi TV. There's a lot of people setting up these things now called a Patreon account. I don't even know what that is. But it's like a certain amount of money you're paying. I'm like, wow, that's crazy, because you're paying a certain amount of money, but there's no exchange for it. So when you join Enqi TV, it's the same amount as this. Same amount. About $1, $2 a week. But you have access to 2,000 to 3,000 hours worth of information that not only can, but is saving lives. I'm into the high tens of thousands of lives that I personally changed because they talk to me. That's not even talking about the domino effect. I know I'm into the hundreds of thousands of people because I have literally people that I've taught through my books and classes that now have clinics where they are reversing cancers. I got a brother here in Detroit. It's powerful. Powerful. Brother Asa is powerful. He done knocked out a couple of cases of herpes. My man got a couple of cases of cancer under his belt. He's on fire. These are not people I touched. I don't know these people. Some of these people are famous. Actually, he's working on somebody right now. And of course, I'm not the type to put nobody's name and stuff like that out there. But he's working on somebody right now. And it's just crazy. So I'm not mentioning names, but I'm just telling you how small the world is and how rewarding what it is that I do. He's working on somebody's health right now that is one of my personal idols. And that's crazy. I'm like, yo, son, that's crazy. So anyway, big up Brother Asa doing this thing. Brother Marv out Chicago, and Sharita down Texas, and just everybody getting it in, man. Glucose intolerance, glucose toxicity. So if you didn't know before, now that these are actually becoming quote unquote illnesses, now you know that there's a problem with all this glucose flooding your body. Increased aging and cancer. I told you how that happens. Increased level of blood fat, right, which leads to heart disease and gangrene. Also, diabetes. Feeds the internal yeast in your body, which is why people with high blood sugar, even the people that are undiagnosed with diabetes, but they have a high level of glycosization in the body, right? The sugar coating in the body. They have a lot of viral issues because they can't get rid of the viruses in their body no matter how much herbs and medication they take, because these viruses can cloak themselves in glycoproteins, especially the unnatural processed ones, as a result of your body becoming sugar coated. Cataracts. Okay. Family out DC, right? Hint, hint, wink, wink. The cataracts. This is a blood sugar issue, right? So if you have cataracts, know that diabetes is on the way. A lot of people get the cataracts after diabetes, but if you have the cataracts and you're undiagnosed with diabetes, no diabetes is on the way. You should probably go get an A1C done, get some blood work done, right? High inflammatory prostaglandins. Prostaglandins is a whole nother subject. I touched on prostaglandins quite a bit though. But you have different types of prostaglandins. You have some prostaglandins that actually stop inflammation, and then you have some that are very inflammatory. Also, glucose intolerance. We talked about increasing the rate at which your internal tissues become sugar-coated, and also loss of flexibility, right? Loss of flexibility. So go get you some hot yoga somewhere. Awesome for getting rid of some of that internal sugar. Citric acid. Citric acid from lemons, limes, and grapefruits, in that order, right? Notice, and this is just something, maybe, because this is, I'll be in the hood, you know what I'm saying? And I noticed back in the days, like every store you went to, there's only pretty much, where there used to be, like 3 juices that you could count on was there. 100% juice though. I mean real 100% juice. In your corner store, your gas station, your mini mart, your Kmart. And you could count on these 3 being on deck. Apple juice, orange juice, grapefruit juice. You got lucky, some of the stores had actual 100% Welch's grape juice. But you knew for sure grapefruit, orange, and apple was on deck. Guess what's missing? That grapefruit juice is pulled. Why? Because they found out that grapefruit juice gets rid of the sugar in the blood, gets rid of high blood pressure. Like grapefruit is like serious, like damn near. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody's trying to push for grapefruit to be like prescription based only. The grapefruit is so crazy. Okay, so 100% grape juice. Just look, 100% grape juice is being pulled out the store. So just pay attention to that. Also, you can use these guys in combination or one of them to make salad dressing. All right, a lot of times condiments kill. People trying to get on their salads and eat a healthier lifestyle, but they still with the ranch, the French, the this, that, and the other. Do not believe fat-free. Do not believe sugar-free. It is a farce. I don't even want to waste time on it. It's fake. Don't do it. Okay? Take you some lemon juice, some grapefruit juice. Put your little cilantro, little black pepper, right? So you're gonna mix that juice with that cilantro, that black pepper, that red pepper, a little dash, not even a dash, like just a little like just a little hint of cinnamon. Oh man. Antioxidants. The skin of fruits and color of vegetables function as antioxidants. Okay? So you need plant pigments. Why? Because your body takes these plant pigments and actually produces pigments in your body that don't exist in the plant kingdom. The same way we can take crayons. It's an analogy, but it actually works in biochemistry. Same way we can take, like blue and red and make purple. Your body does that with plant pigments. Okay? So when you're not getting a good amount of pigments in your food, you're not going to have all of the pigments that you need per se in your eye. And then you're going to start to have eye problems, but it's because you're not getting a good amount of colors in your fruit and vegetables, particularly your vegetables. All right? Because a lot of the plant pigments in the fruit, we got to peel off. Maybe it's in the skin, the rind, etc., etc. But the vegetables you get to eat. All right? Cinnamon, insulin stabilizer, glucose metabolizer, right? Works great as a snack for people that have high blood pressure. I've been saying this for years. It has never failed. Green apples dipped in some raw almond butter, right? Raw almond butter, all right? So you have the enzymes from the apples, the enzymes from the raw almond butter, and then dip that joker in a nice, well, don't dip it because it might be too much for your palate. But coat that joint well in cinnamon, man. Knock 2 or 3 green apples sliced like that out, and your blood sugar gonna go. Now, what if that wasn't a snack or an emergency protocol? What if that was a regular part of your day every day? A1C. Onions. Onions have APDS. It's a sulfur that metabolizes sugar by preventing the liver from deactivating insulin. So it's a sulfur that recycles insulin. Right? So you don't have to take more insulin. You can just eat you some red, pink onions raw, of course, so you have the enzyme activity, and then it's going to recycle the insulin for you. Garlic, similar, but the only difference with garlic is, and people know garlic is on my, do not eat, but medicinal purposes. Right? Garlic is the same. It has the same type of sulfur compounds to help recycle insulin, but it also has a high amount of bioavailable selenium in there for you. On my Instagram today, Minister, which sugar should I use? Drum roll, please. None. The federal law. See, what you guys got to understand is the certain words and terms are coined, and they have weight in court. They have weight in different industries. So you have to understand sugar is one of those words. And federal law prohibits anything from being called sugar unless at least 96% of the plant that it was found in is removed. I need you to get that. They have to remove 96% of the plant that the sugar was found in order for it to be called legally a sugar. So don't ask me about brown turbinado sugar, pure cane sugar, all these different things. If sugar is in the title, that means that the enzymes have been stripped and it's garbage. Don't waste your money on it, no matter who tells you what. Your health prime minister, the health prime minister is telling you don't do it. What do you use, Minister? I use two things. I use organic maple syrup, which is pricey. 16 ounces is going to run you about $16, anywhere from $16 to $22, right? Or I use Manuka, okay? And Manuka is going to run you $50 for 16 ounces. Manuka is a type of honey, right? And if you're getting Manuka, only get 15 or better, 15, 16 or better, right? It's a raw honey. Oh my God, but Minister, I thought you was vegan. No, I'm eating. No, I'm just I'm living. I told you, I'm not a vegan to save the animals. In fact, eating Manuka honey actually contributes to keeping the world populated with bees. Hint, hint, wink, wink. Bees are dying out. So you need to support these Manuka honey farms, because they're growing bees and they treat the bees a certain type of way, which is the reason why a 16-ounce jar runs you $50. These are not malnourished bees that are almost dead. In fact, Manuka honey, see, a lot of people might know about, because it might make people, see, people like to hear familiar science and then it makes them feel better. So a lot of people know that tea tree oil is very powerful for your health. Very powerful in terms of being antiviral, antibacterial. Manuka honey comes from tea trees. It's a specific type of bee that lives in these trees that makes a very unique type of honey from that tea tree pollen. You know what? We're going to cut it right here and we're going to come back with part 2. Look for the live Q&A in the 40-day fruit fast. Peace. My name is Minister Enqi.